Welcome to San Joaquin Spotlight, a public affairs broadcast featuring conversations about life in central San Joaquin Valley. This is brought to you in partnership by KFSR 90.7 FM and CMAC in Fresno. I'm Sevag Tateosian, your host. Today we have R. Michael Alexander. He's the president and CEO of United Way of Fresno County. Michael, welcome to the program.
Well, it's good to be here, Sevag. Thanks for the invite.
What is United Way of Fresno County?
United Way of Fresno County is a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to improve the lives of the community that we live in, the people who live here. And it works with all of our partners in the county to make sure that we're addressing the needs that the county has.
Are you ever asked if United Way is an airline?
No, I haven't heard that one.
Talk about life in the central San Joaquin Valley, and particularly Fresno County. Is it tough here?
It is. You know, we have a high unemployment rate. We have a high poverty, obesity, many of the challenges that we're trying to address. But what I see is the community coming together to really address those in many initiatives. And so that's the inspiring and gratifying thing, is that people care about our community. People want it to change, to have a better life here, and so people are working together.
Speaking of community, you are run by a volunteer board. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a volunteer board that represents our community, which is very important. Not only the different businesses and government agencies and organizations, but also the diversity of our community. And so we have a board that comes together, there's 22 right now, that come together 10 times a year to be able to govern what we are doing in United Way. But more importantly, they're there to advocate for what we're doing, to volunteer and to give, not only of their time, but of their resources, or the resources they can get from their friends, to make sure, or their businesses, to get sure that we have the resources we need to solve those problems.
Are these people from business? Are they educators? Talk a little bit about the makeup.
Yeah, we have businesses that are on, we have educators, we have banks. So we really try to represent the community legal profession. And it's really a great board that really cares about the mission that we have, improving those lives of people who live here. But it's a group that works well together, but they also have to govern to make sure we are running the United Way as we're supposed to from a legal standpoint.
The other day I was at United Way at 7 a.m. and there was a meeting going on. So this board meets early.
It does, but we have changed it over the years. I've been with the organization 2 years, but we really find that with the people's busy schedules, it's better to get them in the morning before they get tied up in work where they can't come back.
Are you seeking members on your board, or how does that process work?
Yeah, we're always looking to make sure we have the right representation. And so either people call us and I go out and meet with them, and then we take them to our governance committee that vets them through the process of becoming a board member. People can call, as I mentioned, or I seek out the different organizations that we want to be a part of the board. So far it's been very successful.
Talk about how important a diverse board is.
Well, you can't represent the community if you don't really look like the community. And so one of the things when I came on 2 years ago, I thought that we needed a more diverse board, and the board was very supportive of that, and we've really changed the makeup of the board to represent our community. So they understand the places they live, where they work, and so they can bring that expertise to what we do at the United Way.
United Way of Fresno County, it's different than the National United Way, correct? Talk about the affiliation.
Yeah, we're affiliation. Our boards, or excuse me, the United Way stands separately. They don't report up to the United Way worldwide. But the affiliation is a great organization, because what it does, it allows us to share among the United Ways across the world the things we're doing in our communities, so we can learn from each other, we're not duplicating, and we can also look at critical issues together as an organization and really rally around those.
How important is that support of a United Way worldwide?
It's very important, because many of the United Ways are, we're a fairly small United Way, but we're larger than many of the United Ways. And so what it does, it allows the United Ways that maybe don't have certain resources in certain areas because of the size that they are and the funding they get, they can then reach out and get that support at no cost, because we all work together to solve the needs of our community.
Do you communicate with United Ways in the Central Valley?
We do. We have United Way of California. We meet twice a month, or excuse me, twice a year personally, to really look at some key issues that are going on. But we also have listservs that allow people to communicate by email to talk about the different issues that we're facing. Plus we have webinars that come out from the United Way Worldwide that really educate the staff at no charge, because we're across the country and the world, to look at address issues of finance, education, or health.
Let's talk about some of those issues that United Way helps people with.
Okay.
Let's talk about something called Spark Point. What is that?
Spark Point is our financial center, which was started almost 2 years ago, and it allows us to work with our partners in the communities for people to come in and really get financial coaching. They can look at debt counseling. If they have mortgage issues, they can get mortgage counseling for foreclosure. They can look at how do they get a budget going. And so there's many initiatives, but again, it's a partnership with our community to really address the needs that our county faces.
The Spark Point Center had a guest recently tour. It was a big deal. Talk about who that was.
It was. It was Attorney General Camilla Harris from the state of California. She came down because she had a huge concern for California with our foreclosure issue. She wanted to see the work we and our community are doing together, so she had many meetings with different partners and us, and then went back and was able to get a law passed, not just because of us, but part of what we were doing, to get a law passed that would help with the foreclosure issue and hold everybody accountable as we work through this problem in our community, in the state, and in the country.
You know Ms. Harris from San Francisco.
That's right.
Talk about that relationship.
Well, when I was in San Francisco, I was there 7 years, I worked for Kaiser Permanente. I was the CEO of the hospital there. And so as a community, we worked on a number of issues. So she and I worked together and got to know each other and support each other. So it was great to see that she would be willing to come down here and look at the issues that we are facing and address them like she did. She's very committed to not only the different counties, but she's very committed to the state.
You mentioned your work at Kaiser in San Francisco, but you've been with Kaiser for a long time. Talk about that.
Yeah, I was with Kaiser for 34 years, started in Colorado, spent 4 years here, and then transitioned up to San Francisco before I retired.
Take us back to the night where you get a call that wants you to come to Fresno.
With the United Way?
Right.
Okay. I have a good friend here who called up in San Francisco. I was retired from Kaiser, as I mentioned. I was doing some healthcare consulting. And he asked me, he said, we're changing leadership in the Fresno United Way. And because of my knowledge of Fresno, how the community felt about me, he thought I would be a great match. So I came down and met with some board members and staff at that time and accepted the position, which I'm glad, and I've been here 2 years.
Is Fresno a change for you?
Well, again, because I lived here 4 years, I'm used to it. It was a change when I moved from Denver to here, because I moved from 3 million down to, Fresno's population, the county under 1 million. But we really fell in love with it, and it allowed us to enjoy great fruit and vegetables that we had to ship into Denver, but it also allowed us to get to the coast and the mountains. But we really love the people here. We really fell in love with the people through our church, through the work I did, through the nonprofits I worked with here, that this is a community that really cared about it. And so when you have people that stand up and volunteer and support, it makes it worth living here, and that's why we came back.
Let's talk a little bit about this telephone number that United Way works with or sponsors called 211.
Right.
Talk about that.
It's the call center 211. It has services. We do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it allows people who have different needs, housing needs, food needs, clothing needs, to call, and we can get them out to the different 1,700 services that are provided in our county. One of the neat things we're working on right now is that from Tulare, Kings, Fresno, and Stanislaus, we're working on an initiative. We would become the call center for this Central California area and do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we would represent the Central California better than we think at this point, because great service in LA, where we do our outsourcing at night and on weekends, but they really don't understand what's going on in the community. So we're now bringing it back to the community.
One of the other things I saw the other day is something called Learn to Earn. The poster I saw said call 211.
Right.
What's Learn to Earn?
Learn to Earn was started by our mayor, Swearingen, and it was to really look at the issue where we have adults that don't have their GEDs. We have over thousands of jobs that are available, but one of the requirements is GED. So the mayor, working with partners within the community, got this fund where we're now the call center where we can get them hooked up with a counselor who can work with the different educational institutions to get them their GED and further education so they can get a good job to support themselves and their family in the future. So it's a great initiative the mayor did.
One of the other projects that United Way has is something called VITA. Talk about that.
Yeah, VITA is a great service that's been around. It's done across the country. It's voluntary income tax assistance. We have over 300 volunteers this year that are being trained as we speak. And they're trained by the IRS to make sure they're well certified after 32 hours of training, and allows them to do free taxes. We did over, I think, 9,000 in Fresno County last year. We brought back over $9 million to our community that they might not have gotten. But more importantly, it's a service that our community engages in. We have those partners, volunteers, and the money comes back to us, and the people get to keep it. Nothing wrong with tax service companies, but this allows those people who really can't afford it to get their taxes done for free.
Is there an income level that someone has to be at for this?
It's moderate and low income at $50,000 or less. So there's many people in our county that fit that. And so it's a great service that we provide throughout the county, and you can call 211 to find the location at it. Last year at our own office on Kings Canyon, we did over 1,000 returns. With people coming in and seeing those services received and being able to get that money back, which is really great.
Say we have people in our community that want to give, but times are tough. Will $1 work?
Absolutely. What we have really figured out is that if you give $1, it turns over 11 times. So $1 equals 11. So as our resource development staff goes out, works with the different businesses and talks to the community through volunteerism, we tell them that their dollar will turn to 11. And so it's easy for people, that, especially low income, many people who've been helped are really giving, in some cases, more on a percentage basis than those who have the money and that don't give at this point. So we're really trying to educate the whole community. But $1 turns over 11, and so through their paycheck or a check or a credit, they can give that money back to the community where they've been helped. So it's a great source.
If I have a business and I want my business to participate in this, what happens, or what's the process?
For United Way or for
Giving.
Giving? Well, we have a resource department. Our staff can go out and talk to businesses. We're bringing in new businesses or businesses that have been what I call dormant for 15 years that haven't had a campaign. We can work with our human resource department, set up so it's easy for them to do payroll deduction, and we provide all the support and services for that. So very quickly, the employees can get educated about what United Way and our partners are doing. They can then sign a payroll deduction of $1 or $5 a paycheck, and after a while, it just becomes routine, but they know they've given back to the community. It's a great way to do it.
Are you finding that those who give and learn about United Way are coming to United Way to seek services?
Yeah, I think that what we've seen with our economy, there are many people, because of losing jobs or they're in foreclosure issues because they're having debt problems. Maybe they have given in the past, but now they need the service. So they'll call 211 or they'll come to our Spark Point Center that we talked about, and now are asking for those services where before they didn't have to, but because of where our economy is and what's happening, they've now sadly been turned into, they need to be a recipient of those services, and we're glad to be able to support them through our great partnership and partners throughout the county.
United Way as an organization has a birthday coming up. Talk about how long United Way has been around.
Well, United Way worldwide has been around for 125 years. United Way of Fresno County will celebrate its 90th birthday next year. So it was started in 1923. So we're really excited, and we're talking about what kind of celebration we can have. That really talks about what the work we and our partners with the funding from our community have done over that 90-year period. So we're looking forward to doing that next year, 2014.
Last year, I heard about a program United Way was doing in partnership with Fresno State Athletics and some NFL players.
That's
Talk
right.
about that.
Yeah, we started that a couple years ago with Fresno State Athletic Department. We were really engaged by Lorenzo Neal, retired NFL player, and we've had two great events the past 2 Octobers, and we saw an increase in kids coming out with their families. And it's really about the kids seeing what exercise means to their good health, and it also talks about what they need to do to eat right. So we have Fresno State athletes, we have retired professional athletes, we have nutritionists and dietitians that come out and really talk over that period of 4 hours or so to those families about what it is to exercise, eat, and be healthy so that they have a great life. And the kids really have a wonderful time because they get to exercise with the athletes, run around the field, learn to do push-ups, sit-ups, whatever that might be. And so they see some future heroes or current heroes doing the things that maybe will inspire them. Because as you know, in the county we have an obesity problem and a diabetes problem. So if we don't get our future corrected, and that's our kids, what is our future going to be like if we don't make that move? And so we have a wonderful relationship with Lorenzo and Fresno Athletic Department.
Let's talk a little bit about the obesity problem in Fresno County. We hear about it all the time.
Right.
Is it really significant?
It is. We have, I think, over 50% of our families or individuals are obese. Part of the problem is when you have low-income people, they're probably not, because of their resources, eating the right foods, the nutritional foods. And so what happens is that because of lack of exercise, many of the schools don't have the programs they used to have in exercise and gym. And so the kids don't exercise, don't eat right, and so sadly, many of them, not all of them, become obese and then have health problems for the rest of their life.
Let's talk a little bit about the program you have called Toys for Tots.
Yep. Toys for Tots is a great program. It's a national program with the U.S. Marines. They're the official leaders of it, but we're the organization that manages it with them here in the Fresno County. We just had our Toys for Tots this past holiday season. We raised over 60,000 toys. Our goal was 102,000. We were short, so we were disappointed in that, but at least we were able to get 63,000 toys out to the families throughout our county that needed it. And so it's a great partnership with the Marines. They get out and they work very hard to help us and with businesses like Toys R Us to write and Target to get the toys. And then we work with different agencies and individuals throughout the county to get those toys out before the Christmas holiday season.
This partnership, Toys for Tots, is with the Marines.
That's correct.
You mentioned Lorenzo Neal, the mayor. You mentioned Kamala Harris. You have diverse partnerships. How important are these partnerships?
Well, they're critical because as the mayor was developing Learn to Earn, she was looking at maybe other resources to do the call center, and the community stood up and said, no, we have a call center at United Way, the 211. So it's really about the partnership of many great organizations coming together and working on the different issues. So it's about when you do something and people like what you're doing, then people will come forward, just like the mayor did, Lorenzo Neal did, and others will come forward saying, I want to be a part of this movement. I want to make a difference in our community. And Lorenzo Neal or the mayor and others are very committed about this community.
It's a tough time to be in nonprofits.
It is.
Funding is going down. The need is great. Why do you do what you do?
It's a passion to help people. I've been working in, even with Kaiser, I was on a number of nonprofit boards. And if the community doesn't step up, for those who have, if they don't step up to help those who don't, how are we going to change the community? And so it's a passion that I've had since I was a kid to really work and support nonprofits, the work they're doing. So it goes back to my childhood.
I want to talk about something you mentioned earlier, that you're originally from Denver.
That's correct.
So how did the move come about to Fresno? They're two different communities. Did you know Fresno existed?
I actually hadn't heard about Fresno when Kaiser Permanente Leadership asked me to move out here. I ran the Central California service area from Fresno to Stockton. I was the CEO of the hospital here and one in in Manteca and ran the outpatient offices with the medical group. Interesting, my wife hadn't seen it, but we felt we have a faith, and we felt that we were being led here by the Lord to really look at the needs of our community. So it actually was an easy move.
And you get here, what's going through your mind?
Well, again, you're going from 3 million metro area of Denver to a million people in the county, and so it was smaller, but we got used to it very quickly because we again fell in love with our neighbors, we fell in love with the community and what we were doing, and it also allowed us, when we had time to do it, to go to the mountains or to the coast very quickly, and so that was it was great. I grew up skiing and being in the mountains, but I tell you, I don't miss the snow, so that's okay.
We do have frost in Fresno.
We do have frost, but normally no snow.
Let's talk about another organization you're involved in called Compact. Talk about that.
The Compact is Fresno County, and it's a group of either educators, the superintendents of the different school systems, and businessmen and women that are really concerned and want to improve the education for our kids. So we meet monthly, and our whole focus is how do we make sure our kids get the right education so they have a bright future. So it's really great to work with the superintendents who work very hard with their teachers and administrative staff to make sure our kids get the right education. So it's a great movement. I was actually involved with them when I was with Kaiser too.
Let's talk about one of the other programs that United Way works on, and that's the Women's Initiative. Talk a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, that's a great organization that we work with and we support. Their first initiative was with issue that we have throughout the whole, not only the county, but the country, where we have prescription abuse among our teens and college and young people, where they have parties, they throw prescriptions in a bowl and they have fun. Well, it's not good fun because many sad consequences become of it. And we work with Sheriff Mims in the county to really pick up the prescriptions and get them out to the coast where they're incinerated, because we don't want prescriptions to thrown in the toilet or in the trash, because that's not good for our economy and what's happening here in our county. The other thing is we're now working on human trafficking. It's amazing what's happening in our county. Human trafficking is really broken into two things. It's the labor issue and also the sex issue of trafficking. And so that's the new kickoff that we're starting to move on, because it's a big issue, as I mentioned, in the county.
There are actual slaves, you're saying, in Fresno County that could be next door or at the restaurant we go to?
Well, I think what it is in the working thing, it could be both, sure. Because in the working area, it's our people, businesses paying the right wages or appropriate wages. Is money being shipped back to other places, other countries? Some of that's occurring. And then, of course, the sex labor is not a good thing, and they're going after our young people. And so, again, that's a big initiative. The courts are working with the sheriff, the police department throughout the county are working on, because it's an issue we got to stop. And it's not just in our county, it's across the country too.
Let's talk a little bit about your background in Kaiser. Did that help you become leader of United Way of Fresno County?
It did, because one, I was a manager. I grew up in Kaiser, many jobs throughout my 34-year career. But what it did is, because of being on boards in Denver, here, and in San Francisco, it gave me the ability to say I can run an organization like this, because healthcare is helping people and nonprofits are helping people. So it's really tied together.
What do you want our community to know about you?
Well, I think that's the thing I like them to know is I care about our community. I'm someone who is able to connect very quickly. It's not about me, it's about us. And so I think the community is happy that I'm back because of the connections I had with Kaiser. And it's, again, it's all about the community, not about individual people. And that's what's so important in the nonprofit world.
I drove by United Way's office the other day. It's on Kings Canyon and Willow.
That's right.
Strategically, why is it important for United Way to be there? You could have selected anywhere else in the city, but United Way of Fresno County decided that's where they want to be. Why?
Well, in 2003, when I was on the board with Kaiser here, United Way, we made the move from Blackstone to here. And this is, this area that we're in, the southeast area, is one of the critical areas for our county as far as resolving some of the issues that are facing it. So when the board made that decision to move to Kings Canyon, it was because we're in the place. We're where it's happening, and that shows the people we care about our community for being somewhere else where maybe the issues aren't the same.
How can people get in touch with United Way of Fresno County? Are you looking for volunteers, or?
We are. We're always looking for volunteers because of the economy, and as you mentioned earlier, the fundraising is a struggle right now with what's going on. Is call 211, and we can hook you up with our volunteers. We can always use volunteers for events, for the book bank where they can come in and clean books that we run for the county, and it's a great opportunity to know about what we're doing.
Thank you so much for being on the program.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for the invite.
That's all for this edition of San Joaquin Spotlight. Tune in next week for a new program. Thank you to KFSR 90.7 FM and CMAC in Fresno. Have a great day. See you next time. Thank you for coming on the program.
Yeah.